Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of The Mandalorian, which was called The Foundling. And as it starts, we're at the Mandalorian commune area, I guess, the community, where the Mandalorians are training, and Mando enters Grogu into a combat training contest. And it doesn't go well at first until he gets a pep talk from Mando, who tells him, go ahead, show him what you can do. And Grogu uses the Force to, do a crazy acrobatic forward jump, backflip, reverse jump, and basically outwit and outscore his opponent, winning the match, snapping victory from the jaws of defeat just before he was about to lose. So that was pretty cool. But then his opponent was totally unceremoniously snatched up by a gigantic pterodactyl type looking thing that just swooped in out of nowhere and picked this kid up, causing a bunch of the Mandalorians to follow it with their jetpacks in order to try to rescue the kid until one by one they each ran out of jet fuel. But it's okay because KATAN follows it in her ship, which was so cool. She then goes back to the encampment after having learned where its lair is, and a plan is formed to go rescue the child. Meanwhile, Grogu is escorted by the armorer into the armory, as there's much work that needs attending to if he's going to become a Mandalorian, to put it the way she put it. As she's explaining to him about the forge and simultaneously forging something, the noise of the machinery reminds Grogu again of what happened as Order 66 was being executed, and how the Jedi were trying to protect him. When they were all killed, he escaped into an elevator and took it to another floor where he met yet another Jedi who continues to protect him as clone troopers try to get to him, to the extent that it led to a wild chase through the skies of Coruscant that only ended when the Jedi rendezvoused with a Naboo transport and flew Grogu away with it as Imperial fighters gave chase until it went into hyperspace. And after the flashback ended, the armorer gave Grogu a new piece of armor. As the Mandalorian rescue team makes camp at the base of the mountain where the beast's nest is, and which they have to climb in order to rescue the kid, we learned that when a group of Mandalorians have dinner at the same time in the same location, they all go off alone into separate little spots so that they can take their helmets off to eat, which answers the question that I had 2 weeks ago a little bit more fully than when we saw Mando sip from a cup while still wearing his helmet. So I was glad they answered that terribly pressing question of how do they eat in the company of other people. After camping for the night, they start climbing up the side of the mountain using ropes and handholds. When they get to the top where the nest is, they don't find the beastie. So they scan for the kid, in its giant nest. And when they thought they saw the kid on the scope by looking for a heat signature, Paz Vizsla goes into rescue mode and tries to get the kid because apparently it's his son. But what he found instead when he got to where the heat signature were 3 baby pterodactyl-like creatures. And when the mama creature showed up to defend her baby creatures, it straight up went to feed the kid to the baby beasties, but then ended up flying away with the kid in its mouth, at which point the Mandalorians gave chase using their jetpacks, and after a crazy sequence of fighting with the beastie in midair, the kid was rescued and the beastie fell into the mouth of another beastie in some water below. The rescue party then returned to the encampment, and it turns out that they brought the 3 baby beasties back because I guess without the mama beastie, they would have starved to death, and they didn't want that to happen. So they brought them back, but they're kind of big. So, okay, if you want to take that on, go right ahead. But yeah. When the armorer then notices that Bo-Katan's armor needs a new shoulder piece, she makes her one. And when the armorer asks if she wants the night owl emblazoned on it so that it'll match her helmet and the other shoulder piece, she looks to a wall decoration of the Mandalorian symbol, the skull of the mythosaur that's on the wall, and says no, she wants one with the mythosaur on it. She then tries to explain to the armorer that she saw an actual living mythosaur in the living waters, but the armorer doesn't seem 100% convinced that she actually did, but she doesn't outright call her a liar. And that's where the episode ended. So I really enjoyed this episode. The action sequences were very cool. The flying pterodactyl and the Mandalorians chasing it and fighting with it and shooting their ropes into it and climbing the mountain and just all that stuff was very cool. And, seeing little Grogu do his Jedi thing was very cool also. But I came away from the episode with a couple of questions. Why does the Empire want Grogu so badly? Like, you really get to see in this flashback that they were going to extremes to try to get Grogu. Like, it wasn't just about let's kill all the Jedi and oh yeah, there's a little baby creature over there. As people are trying to get the creature, which is Grogu, away from the soldiers just keep focusing in and giving chase to the point of, like I said, a crazy chase through the Coruscant night sky. And it's like, why do they want Grogu so badly? I'd really like to know the answer to that question. And I imagine eventually we're gonna, find out. But of course, they're giving it to us in piecemeal. The other question or questions I have center on the Mandalorians living in the encampment. Now, at one point, Paz Vizsla or Villa, whatever his name is, says straight out that they've lost other like small Mandalorians before to this creature that would end up getting away with whoever they scooped up because they couldn't figure out where its lair was because they never had enough jet fuel in their jetpack tanks to be able to follow it all the way to wherever its lair was. So, like, did they not think, like, did these people not leave the planet? Do they not have ships? Did they never think, hey, let's run to a ship, and chase it that way and learn where its friggin' lair is? Like, how did that not occur? It was the first thing that occurred to Bo-Katan. So, like, what? How'd they not figure that out? Also, if this is something that occurs, why do they practice and do all this training stuff out in the open with a bunch of people and make a whole bunch of noise in daylight? Like, what? What are you just swoop down and grab another one of us? Come hither. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get your people snatched up? That didn't make sense to me. It's like they're trying to get the things to come in, and I don't know, maybe they were baiting it so they could kill it, but it flies way too fast for them to shoot it without a ship that they could chase it in. So I didn't understand that. It seemed a little weird to me because they obviously have this cavern that they don't live and sleep and shit outside, right? They live in the cave. So why are they outside training? I didn't get it. But yeah, I thought this was a great episode. I mean, Mando kicks ass, Bo-Katan kicks ass, and Grogu kicks ass, and there was a creature, and we get to see Bo-Katan's badass ship again. It was really good. I'm sad that it was only 30 minutes, like 31 minutes, 32 minutes. Like, why? Why are you doing this? It should be a little, they should be longer than that. And I'm disappointed now that Bo-Katan, between last episode and this episode, seems to be finding her way back into walking the path of the way, which means she's not going to take off her helmet really anymore. And we're not going to get to see Katie Sackhoff's lovely face as much. And that annoys me. But the upside of that, of course, is that it's development for the character. And it's very cool to see her sort of get back in touch with her Mandalorian roots and reclaim her sort of way of life that she once had. And, where's that going to lead? Is she going to, again, end up with the Black Saber and leading her people? She is part of the royal family, right? So you would think that, that it is only natural for that to occur. So, I think that would be cool. I really like the character, and I love Katie Sackhoff, whom I've met. But that's really it. The episode was good, just too short. And it left me with questions that I can't wait to get the answers to. But that's really it. So I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back to review the next episode once it's released. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.